Morning fifth, and welcome to your Monday Master Your Maths tutorial. As this is a short week, I'm not giving busy at maths this week, so instead you're having your Master Your Maths. On Monday you're doing 2 columns, and on Tuesday you're going to do the next 2 columns, and then Wednesday you do your test like you would on a Friday. So for today you're doing the Monday column and the Tuesday column. So for number 1, you're changing 1/20th into a percentage. So what do you need to multiply 20 by so that it's 100 at the bottom? The fraction is 100 at the bottom, has a denominator of 100. When you find out what you have to multiply 20 by, you multiply 1 by that same amount, and then that top numerator tells you what the percentage is because it's going to be out of 100. Number 2, 5% of 40, putting this as a fraction, so 5 over 100, simplifying it and then finding that amount of 40 by dividing by the bottom, multiplying by the top. Find the area of this shape. So before you do work out the area, you'll notice some of the sides have no measurements. You can work them out from other measurements you've been given. Now this is an irregular shape, so you cannot find the area by multiplying the length and width of this shape. You need to split it up into a couple of shapes, maybe 3 separate shapes, and find the area of the 3 of them and then combine. So for example, splitting the shape off here to work out the area of this part, then splitting here to do the area of this part, and then this big rectangle finally, and adding them together. Number 4, then what's the perimeter of the shape? So adding all the sides. Which of these is a square number? A square number meaning 2 numbers were multiplied together to get one of these as the answer, and the numbers that were multiplied together were the same number. So 5 by 5, that's 5 and 5 are the same number, multiplied together make 25. So 25 is a square number. 16 is a square number because you get it by multiplying 4 by 4, one of the ways anyway. 100 is a square number because you get it by multiplying 10 by 10. So which of these numbers can you make by multiplying the same number together? Calculate the missing angle here. Turn this shape 180 degrees and draw. So you draw beside it. Write this as an improper fraction. So you multiply the 4, the denominator 4, by 9, and then add 3. That becomes your new numerator. 4 multiplied by 9 plus 3 becomes the new numerator, and 4 remains as the denominator, the bottom number. You're dividing 3 into this number, and you can see there will be a remainder. Drawing the lines of symmetry on a rhombus. Dividing this by 10, easiest way is to find where the decimal point is and move it accordingly. Number 12, you're adding those together. Number 13, you're subtracting, but the answer is going to be in kg. So you're taking away grams, and then when you're left with how many grams, you're going to have to change it to something point something kg. You're multiplying this by 5. You're looking at the number 60,000 and seeing which of these 2 numbers are closer to it. So you can subtract 60 from 71,200 to find the difference there, and you can subtract 53,800 from 60,000 and see the difference there. The smaller number means it's closer. A car can travel this much on 1 litre of diesel. What is the cost of diesel for a 250 kilometre journey at €1.45 per litre? So we know that it goes this far for 1 litre. So you want to see how many times this is in this length of a journey, how many 25 kilometres are in this journey. Once you know how many 25s are in this journey, you can see, well, each of those is a litre, and each litre is worth that. So you'll be able to, if it goes in 8 times, then you'll know, well, 8 times this is my price. If a lot of prizes that of that was shared equally among 10 people, how much would they each get? So again, division. And if a family ate 5/8 of a shepherd's pie every day, how much would they eat in a week? So how many days are in a week? And you're going to be multiplying it by 5/8. Now remember, how many days there are in a week is not a fraction, but how do we make a whole number a fraction? We pop it over 1. So for example, if there were 5 days in a week, which there are not, you'd be multiplying 5/8 multiplied by 5 over 1. And then we just multiply top by top, 5 by 5 at the top to create the new numerator, 8 by 1 at the bottom to create the denominator. I think I said numerator there. So that's what you're going to be doing, a multiplication of fractions at the bottom. But as we say, there are 7 days in a week, so you have to change that into the fraction by popping it over 1. For this, you're increasing 440 by 30%. So change this into a fraction, and you're going to find, so you're going to put 30 over 100 and simplify, and then you're going to divide, when you get the most simple fraction, you're going to divide by the bottom into this, get an answer, and multiply that answer by the top. But you're not finished there, because you'll have to add the amount you get to this to increase 440 by that amount. Ordering these from smallest to largest, again, to know which is bigger, you should change them all to one, either all to decimal fractions, all to fractions, all to percentages, so that you can see clearly which is the smallest, which is the largest, and which one's in between. You're writing this as a fraction, so thinking about what the position of 4 is. So after the decimal point, what's the 0? It's a tenth. What's this one, and what's this one then? Because it'll let you know what you to put the number over. It'll help you with the denominator. Dividing 6 into here, I'm thinking it goes evenly because there's no or for remainder. Multiplying 34 by 20. Think about 34 multiplied by 10. And if you know that, it's about moving a decimal point. Then you're just going to double that answer, or multiply that answer by 2. You're multiplying 4 nines by 6. Now, like I said, this is a whole number and this is a fraction. So before I can multiply this, I have to pop 6 over 1, and then 6 becomes the numerator and 1 becomes the denominator. So I then can just multiply numerator by numerator, which would be 4 by 6 to get my new numerator, and 9 by 1 to get right my new denominator. A subtraction of fractions, but the denominators do not match, so you have to find the lowest common multiple before you can carry out the sum. A parallelogram has many lines of symmetry, so where can you fold that parallelogram and have the exact same on each side? That if you were to fold it over, it would completely cover what's on one side would completely cover what's on the next side. This one here is exactly like number 1. So when you find what to multiply 20 by to get to 100, it'll help you with this one because it's 20 at the bottom again. So let's say you were multiplying 20 by 6, for example. You're going to multiply this 20 by 6 to get 100 at the bottom, and you're going to multiply the 7 by 6. And then the 7 by 6, the numerator answer will be your percentage. You're subtracting for this one, that's fine. Here there are no brackets, but we always follow the BOMDAS kind of sequence, like, so you do your brackets first, but we have no brackets, so we move on and we do anything that has the word of in it. There's no word of like this. So then we move on and we think, right, is there any multiplication? No, there's not. So then we move on to the D in BOMDAS. Is there division in this sum? Yes, there is. 28 divided by 4. I do that part first and get an answer. 28 divided by 4. Then I can finish off the sum. 63 minus whatever answer I get here. A sphere has how many faces? So a ball, how many faces? Double 9.3. So you're multiplying it by 2. Subtracting time here. Remember, if you do not have enough minutes at the top to subtract, so 26 minutes will not be enough to subtract 48 minutes, you go across to your hours and borrow 1 hour, so this will be left with 4. But when you carry your 1 hour across, it's coming over as 60 minutes and you add it to what's already here, 60 plus 26. Here, they multiply the bottom by 10, so 10 by 10 give you 100. So what happens to 8 when it's also multiplied by 10? What will this be here? And then whatever you get here is going to be your percentage because it's over 10 or out of 10. If the average weight of 4 boys is 40 kg, what is their total weight? So they would have had a total and divided it by 4 to get to 40. So now you're trying to work backwards. So if something divided by 4 give you 40, how do you get back to that total? What is the weight of boy D? Okay, so when you get the total here for this one. So remember, in averages, let's say this said 10 kg, and I said there were 5 boys. So something divided by 5 gave me 10. So I work backwards. I think, well, 10 multiplied by 5 will get me back to what it was, and it's 50. And you can check it then. Well, 50 divided by 5, yeah, it brings me back to 10. So when you get your total for here, it'll help you with this answer, because the total would have been these 4 added together. So obviously they're not going to make this total because they're missing something, and you'll be able to find out what they're missing for this part. And if boy D weighed that, what would the average weight of the 4 boys be then? So they're saying, if this weight changed to 34 kg, can you just work out the average again by adding all 4 weights and dividing by 4. That's your Monday maths for February the 15th. And best of luck with it. And if you have any issues, just message me. I'm here.